Brothers and sisters, thank you for watching. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I thought it was very important to do this video, as I'm sure you heard that Trump has finally released the his peace plan. He called, the peace plan of the century, with Netanyahu on the 28th of January. After discussing with Netanyahu of Israel and his counterpart, Gantz, they finally revealed it yesterday. Here's not. Here they are. There, and I'm going to read this article in The Guardian, which says Trump unveils Middle East peace plan with no Palestinian support. So this is what it says. Trump has unveiled his vision. Why am I reading this? Because the Bible warns about anyone dividing the land of Israel. He will bring about judgment. It's very important that that's why to listen, because if they go along and do this, divide God's land, God will obviously be very annoyed with whoever does it to Israel. And it says here, Donald Trump has unveiled his vision for Middle East peace in the White House. It says, standing next to Benjamin Netanyahu, Trump announced details of the 181-page plan. Palestinian leaders, unfortunately, were absent from the launch, already having preemptively rejected the proposal. Today Israel takes a big step towards peace, Trump said on Tuesday. This is very prophetic, I was not elected to do small things or shy away from big problems, he says. A copy of the plan released by the White House said the proposal intended to establish Jerusalem as Israel's undivided capital, with the potential Palestinian capital to the east and the north of the city. Recognise the vast majority of Israel's settlements on occupied Palestinian territory as part of the country. A Palestinian state would receive territory, mostly desert, near Gaza, to compensate for the loss of about 30% of West Bank. Gaza and the West Bank would be linked by high-speed rail. Recognition of the Jordan Valley, which makes up about a third of the occupied West Bank, to be part of Israel, offer a path to some form of Palestinian statehood, but with no army and overarching Israeli security control in some areas, including over the sea. The plan also sets a series of conditions the Palestinians have to meet before receiving independence, including the complete dismantling of Hamas, which governs Gaza. Also the possibility of stripping Israel citizenship from tens of thousands of Arab Israelis who live in 10 border towns, with those towns and their residents being included in many future state of Palestine. Also recognise sections of the desert bordering Egypt as part of any future Palestinian state, and refuse Palestinian refugees the right of return to homes lost to Israel in previous conflict. Also, Trump said the economic portion of the plan would lead to 1 million new jobs for Palestinians over the next 10 years, and invest $50 billion in a new state and triple its GDP. Netanyahu said the proposal was a great plan for Israel. It's a great plan for peace. Critically, the status quo of Israel control over the Palestinian territories remain in place until a deal was reached, which he anticipated would take years. This is it. And Trump, he said, Netanyahu said, "You have been the greatest friend that Israel has ever had in the White House." I don't, more like, I don't understand, you know, he's going to divide Israel, and he's agreeing basically to a two-state solution. God is not happy about this. It says here, speaking to reporters after the joint press, Netanyahu said he would seek to take steps to annex the Jordan Valley as soon as next week, because, you know, they want it under their control. Boy, they're implementing this very soon. Boy, this will be a trigger to God's judgment once the nations and USA and Israel actually do agree to the dividing of the land. That's it. He said Israel only intended to agree to conditional limited sovereignty for the Palestinians. So would you believe that? That's part of it. Let's see if there's any more I found out. Things I found out. He said Trump, in his Trump peace plan, he said the map that they drew up with more than double Palestinian territory, and it said the Palestinian capital would be in East Jerusalem, not the old city, not part of the old city, which is, you know, holy to the Jews and to Christians. And they said Israel would control the Jordan Valley to the east. The Jordan Valley. If they actually go ahead and, you know, actually this plan, it's not just the Palestinians will be very annoyed and angry, but God, believe me, you won't want to divide any bit of land already, because Israel has already sacrificed part of the land. Well, this will be it. This is the final straw. If it's divided, God's judgment, Jacob's trouble, will come. And let me read the promise to Abraham about the land that he gave to Abraham. When Abraham, this is chapter 17 of Genesis, when Abraham got to be 99 years old, then Yahweh appeared to Abraham, and said to him, "I am God Almighty, walk before me and prove yourself faultless, and I will give my covenant between me and you, that I may multiply you very, very much." At this Abraham fell upon his face, and God continued to speak with him, saying, "As for me, look, my covenant is with you, and you will certainly become a father of a crowd of nations, and your name will not be called Abram anymore, and your name must become Abraham, because a father of a crowd of nations I will make you, and I will make you very, very fruitful, and will make you become nations, and kings will come out of you, and I will carry out my covenant between me and you and your seed and your according to their generation. And I will carry out my covenant between me and you and your seed after you according to their generations, for covenant to time and definite, to prove myself God to you and to your seed after you. And I will give you to you and to your seed after you the land of your alien residence, even, listen to this, even the entire land of Canaan I will give to you for a possession to time indefinite, that means forever, and I will prove myself God to them. And God said further to Abraham, as for you, and you are to keep my covenant, you and your seed after you, according to their generation. So you believe? Would you believe it? It says and I will give to you and your seed after you even the entire land of Canaan. And what's that? The entire land of Canaan? Well, the land known as Canaan, I found out, is situated in a territory of 7 Levants, which today encompasses Israel, the West Bank, Gaza, Jordan, and the southern portions of Syria and Lebanon. So all that really is meant to belong to Israel, but they've already, sacrificed Jordan to Arabs because they were moaning for land, and that was really part of the promised land, Jordan. And now this is the last straw, as some brothers said online. If they divide Israel, this will be it. This is the spark that causes the Jacob's tribulation, whatever you want to call it, God's judgment to come on Israel, but also all the nation, America and all the nations that agree to this. So let me read some scriptures. The warning God gives about any peace, this is what it says. Now, 1 Thessalonians 5:3. Now, as for the times and the seasons, brothers, you need nothing to be written to you, for you yourselves know quite well that God's day is coming exactly as a thief in the night. Whenever it is they are saying peace and security, or peace and safety, then sudden destruction is to be instantly upon them, as the pang of distress upon a pregnant woman, and they will by no means escape. So this is it. Whenever they're saying peace and security, then sudden destruction. Believe me, if they split the land up of Israel, if it's Trump or Netanyahu or whoever comes after them, I believe that Netanyahu is the last Israeli Prime Minister after the Antichrist. Whoever it is that divides the land, but I believe they've set off a chain of events. If they're going to implement this, but maybe if it's not them, but the one they claims to be the Messiah actually cause the land to split up, then it will be sudden destruction. Let me read what God says He will do to the nations if they divide. Tell you what God will do to the nations that do that. It says here in Joel 3:2, I will gather all the nations and bring them to the valley of judgment. There I will judge them for all they have done to my people. They have scattered the Israelites in the foreign countries and divided up Israel, my land. See, they divided up Israel, my land. And that's why He said, I will judge them. I will gather all the nations and bring them to the valley of judgment. Or in other renditions is Jehoshaphat. This is in the New Good News Bible. So you see, God will judge them. I'm glad that so far the Palestinians have rejected it, but I'm worried that they will be forced to accept it, the Palestinians. So, but it's funny how Trump, they want to impeach him to get rid of him, and Netanyahu, on abuse of power, and also Netanyahu, he's just been indicted. He wanted immunity, but on corruption charges and bribery. So maybe they know that these are the ones that will start the chain of events that bring along God's judgment. You never know. But have there been any signs? I've done videos in the past, I might give a link. Every time America, previous presidents have, let's say, just gone to talk about peace, a natural disaster has occurred. If you don't believe me, check out my links. Bush and other people. And were there any signs? Let me see. In Israel or America? Well, 5 days before, on the 23rd, I look at signs, either in the heavens or on earth. On the 23rd of July, just about, I would say, 5 days before they talk about this, Paul Begley covered this. He said two meteorites. There was two meteorites that exploded, one over UK London, but listen to this, one exploded over Israel. It was a blue meteorite. He said the flash was intense and it caused the whole sky to be blue. A blue flash that was visible over Israel. Two meteorites, one exploded over Israel and one over UK London. That was on the 23rd, only 5 days before. Paul Begley, I agree what he says. This could be a sign, but were there any other things? Let me see. I believe this is a sign that God was not happy with Israel, with giving the peace plan about dividing Israel. On the very same day, I don't know if you heard about it in the news, Miami, southern Miami, felt an earthquake. I mean, I'll let you hear a little clip of a news bulletin. So would you believe that? It's no coincidence, my friends, that God was not happy. You see what I mean? That's not a coincidence that there was a very powerful earthquake, 7.7 earthquake in the Caribbean Sea between Cuba and Jamaica. Paul Begley, covered it. On the same day, Trump unveiled the peace plan. And it was felt all the way in southern Miami, as you heard a little bulletin, on the same day in southern Miami in Florida. So, like I said, well, this is nothing. If they actually finally agree eventually, somehow, if they, force the Palestinians to divide, and, Israel, with Israel and Palestinians divide the land of it, the Holy Land, God will not be happy, Also, because as I said, many things like this happened before. There will be much more severe things when it's actually implemented. But also, not only that, one day after, I heard, multiple storms. Listen to this, it's no coincidence, just one day after now, on the 29th. Multiple storms, not one, but many to bring days of heavy rain and flooding and landslide in the US, where US Pacific North. So this is just, you know, I'm not making it up. It's not. This is real, and it's very worrying, because to those who are not, especially those who are not, you know, believers in God. So please, if you haven't come to know Christ, please do, because, you know, if this, you know, is actually implemented and Jerusalem is divided, what you see now is nothing, because this will trigger the 7-year tribulation. This is the trigger. So when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction. Anyway, hope you enjoyed my video, and thank you very much. Bye.